So we've got our outline curves here. So next I'm going to create some of these offset curves on the side. Now the tools for working with curves can be found on two palettes. The Curve Edit palette, where we've already used Curve Duplicate, and Object Edit, where the tools apply to both curves and surfaces. And I'll start here with the Offset tool, and I'll double click to open the control window. And there are lots of settings here that we don't need right now, but the important one is the offset plane. And geometry average is for a curve or surface offsetting in 3D. But for our centerline curve, I'll stick with the default active view, and then go into the orthographic side view. So I'll leave the control window open for now, and then I can just click and drag on the curve to get the offset that I want. Or I can type in a precise number, either in the prompt line or in the control window. But I'll just do it by eye. And then I click the offset button to create the curve, and then to move on to the next one, I can just hit the next button in the control window. So now I'll do the windscreen. And if I don't have the control window open and I've created an offset, I can just hit the offset button and then move on to the next one. And on this rear I can't really see a line, so I'm just going to keep the offset fairly consistent. So you'll notice that the curves are green, and this means that they've got construction history. And we have a tool on Object Edit called Query Edit, which you can use on any item with construction history to modify the settings. And I can't do it interactively now, but I can change the offset value in the control window. But I may also want to lose that history by turning on the CVs for the curve and modifying the shape by picking and moving a CV. And I'll get this warning again, but this time, yes, I'm happy to lose the history. Now before I move this, I'll just put the curve curvature locator onto it. And then you can see that if I just move one CV in isolation, I change the character of the curve and distort the distribution of the CVs. So instead I have a really nice tool on the Curve Edit palette, under the Add Points tool, called Curve Stretch, which gives us these two handles, and I can create more if I want to. And if I pick that handle and move it, then all the CVs get moved proportionally, so the shape is much more consistent. So I could curve snap this to the top curve, for example. And I can just delete that locator. And now I can sort out these overlapping curves at the ends. And I have two tools that I could use. The first is Curve Section on the Curve Edit palette, and that asks me to select the curve on the side I want to keep, and I'm okay to lose the history. Say Go, and then select the curve to trim it to. But I can also achieve the same thing using the Extend tool. This shrinks or extends a curve just like it did with surfaces. But if I use a curve snap, then it stops exactly at the intersection of the curves. And you can see that if I turn the CVs off. So I could do the same at this end. Now while I'm zoomed in, you might notice that the curve looks a bit flat. And there's a setting over here on the control panel, under the transparency, that controls the curve display quality. And if I bring that right down, you can see the problem better. So if I want to view the curves as accurately as possible, I can take that all the way up to 1. But this will slow down the screen interaction with large models, so just adjust it as you need to. Now these curves are the outer edges of our glasshouse surfaces, so we really want them in the right position in 3D. So I can pick them and move them only in the Y direction, out to the side of the car. And then I can turn on the CVs and start to shape them, always constraining the movement in the Y direction so that I don't lose the shape in the side view. But in fact, we really don't know where these curves need to be until we start to build the side surfaces. So I won't spend much time on this, and I'll just put them on a layer and we'll use them later to build surfaces from. So here's a reminder of the tools we've used. And if you want to find out more about any of them, use the alias help or the tooltips.